bath floor to be cleaner than yours. Now, if everybody thinks along these lines and does all the small jobs to the best of their ability, that's honesty, then the world will be better and football will be better. So what we want is hard work, and no football club was ever successful without hard work.
Shankly carried that uncomplicated philosophy inside his strutting chest throughout a distinguished playing career with Preston North End. He was their right half in the 1938 FA Cup final against Huddersfield Town. Huddersfield, who Shankly and Preston beat that day, were one of 4 clubs where he served a managerial apprenticeship before he arrived at Anfield in December 1959. At that time, Liverpool supporters were watching second division football, but the city was on the verge of an explosion which was to reverberate far beyond Merseyside over the next decade. The Beatles and other Liverpool groups provided the music to which the fans on the Kop readily found the words. But Shankly's team served up the football. He claimed he then had the best 12 players the country had ever seen. And if that was a typical Shankly exaggeration, there was no quarrelling with the 2 championships they won in the space of 3 seasons. Never had a bond been stronger between supporters, players and manager. The captain then was Ron Yates, a giant of a centre-half who Shankly had plucked out of Scottish football and turned into an inspirational figure. And that 60s team owed much too to a man whose honesty on the field was in Shankly's own image, Liverpool's top goal scorer Roger Hunt, who had that marvellous understanding with Scottish centre-forward Ian St John. Young managers of that time, like Tommy Docherty at Chelsea, came to pay homage to the master.
It's a big thing they won the first league.
Wow, yeah.
Chief, I think the fact that you beat us here in the Cup was responsible for us winning the league.
Yes, it's true, but still, you did well. You're a great side, bro. You deserve it, mate. I can go a better block.
Well, we're happy about it, Tommy. It's amazing, even that game today. I mean, we could have lost the game and won the championship.
That's true, yeah.
The champagne also flowed at Wembley in 1965, when a goal by St John against Leeds enabled Liverpool to win the FA Cup for the very first time.
Here come Liverpool again. Not hurrying things, because the team that panics now will lose this cup final. It's out to Callaghan. He's taking it too far. It's a goal!
But even in moments of triumph like these, with his team reaching the final of one European competition and the semi-final of another, Shankly was thinking ahead. He broke up his 60s side and rebuilt for the 70s, winning a 3rd championship title amid these scenes of celebration at Anfield in 1973. In the same year, Liverpool won the UEFA Cup, their talisman now an astute Shankly signing whose play reflected the manager's evangelical fervour.
Bowler. Keegan, 1-0. Hughes, Hooks, Koshak, Keegan, 2-0.
A year later, in 1974, Liverpool were back at Wembley.
Keegan. Callahan's available behind Keegan. Beautiful ball to Smith. He didn't have to move to get it. Ball to Smith. Highway, Liverpool showing their party pieces. He wasn't offside. Smith, yes! Keegan second, and Newcastle were undressed.
Nobody knew then that Shankly was 2 months away from sudden retirement. His decision to quit after 14.5 years as Liverpool manager took the football world by surprise. Later, Shankly would admit that retirement was premature, but it was on the foundations that he laid that Liverpool went on to win the European Cup 3 times in 5 years. The legacy he's left is undisputed. The fund of stories is endless. Some of the memories are highly personal, yet still personifying the incomparable Bill Shankly.
I was playing against Bobby Moore, and he used to stand in the passage just underneath this is Anfield sign in the passage, and he used to watch every player, manager, come off the team bus, come down the passage and go into the dressing room. And he must have seen that I was a bit uptight playing against Bobby Moore, who was, you know, I mean, I was still 10 when he was at the top. You know, I'd read about him in comics and books and that. And he came in and he said, I've just seen that Bobby Moore's son. He said, he's got big bags under his eyes. He says, he's limping. He says, he's losing his hair. He says, he's been out to a nightclub, son. And, you know, you laugh about it now. What he was trying to do was he was trying to bring him down a little bit so that I felt I wasn't playing against such a great man. And we went out and we played, and he'd built me up so much before the game. It had really gone well for me. I think I scored one, laid on one. We beat them 4-1. But when I come in, he then had to twist it round for me to get the benefit. And he come in and he said to me, what a great player that Bobby Moore is, son. He says, you'll never play against anyone better than him. And that was a psychologist in him, you know. He really knew. Suddenly, it wouldn't have been anything if I was playing against a sort of lad who'd been out all night and, you know, was limping. Suddenly, he was a great player again because I played well against him. And with that sort of bringing me up like that for 2 or 3 years, he took me at my football to a level which I don't honestly think with anyone else I would ever have achieved. So, you know, I owe him so much, and it's a shame really that I've never had the chance to pay him back all what he's done for me, and I never will have now.
To write in the
team. We used to say at Preston when we were all tired, give it to Tommy and he'll dribble about for 10 minutes with it, give us all the rest. If I had my choice of picking a player in the whole world with my life at stake, I would pick Tommy Finney.
Well, centre forward, of course, a legendary position, really. There have been so many great players who've had so much glory in the number 9 shirt. Who have you picked here?
I would plump for Lawton, in as much as he could belt them in with both feet, as well as him. One day I was playing in 1939 against England at Hampden Park. I think that was the last one before the war. 150,000, bucketing down a rain. And we were winning 1-0, and Pat Beasley equalised. He lashed the ball over the top of the goalkeeper's head. And it was in the closing stages. And Matthews was having a birthday that day, you know, as you could do against anybody. And he had beaten one of his opponents on the far side, and I was making a beeline. Of course, I was a sweeper up as well, long before they talked about sweepers up. So I was making a beeline for Matthews when, as I got past the faraway post, he hooked it over my head. And Tommy Lawton came in, and he lashed it in the net with his head. And I remember the noise the ball made, swishing against the wet net, you know. And he said, get in, you know, and I heard him saying this, and I thought, a lump of cement that fell into my stomach. Yeah. And the net was swishing with noise, you know. Bloody awful it was. Terrible sensation. But a gunner would have shot him. The Hampden was hushed to silence.